And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Okavango. This is a game about watering holes. This is the river, the Okavango River. And if I'm mispronouncing that, my apologies. But in this, animals are coming to drink at the holes, and animals are coming to the rivers. This is a Kramer and Kiesling game. I mean, these are the guys who've made some of the best Euro games ever. So when I saw this, I was like, what? That's pretty impressive. I know there's going to be point scoring and set collection or something like that in the game. Let's find out. Alright, so you can see here there are several 8 watering holes here. There's the stock at the top where the different animals are numbered from 1 to 11 all the way up to 11, and then there's the park rangers who are wild in this game. There's also the river down here at the bottom, and then each player will have their own stock. You'll draw 13 tiles to start the game, and you'll keep these behind a shield so you have different animals that are here. Now what you're doing in this game is you're trying to score points. There is a point tracker over here with a meeple for each person's color. And so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick one of the water holes or the deltas and collect the animals that are there. So you can pick any animal. Let's say I'll take the gazelle here. So I put this here behind my shield. I've collected all that. Now I must replace it with the same number or a higher number of a single kind. So I could replace it, if I pull off a 4, I could put a single rhino in that same spot. That would be a legitimate move. Or I could put more if it's a lower one. So I could put 2 flamingos there. So let's say I do that. I put 2 flamingos there. I can do either one. I can put more animals, and then it doesn't matter what their number is. Or I can put the same number of animals, but they have to be a higher number than the ones that are already there. On the rivers, it's different. There you just have to put, if I take the lion from the river, I just have to put more animals, and they just have to be different. So they're all going to be different. Now, once you start filling in these spots here on the river, you're going to be getting those points. So here I would get 2 points and score 2 points. I'm going to be trying to score points as much as I can, trying to take these tiles back and forth. You're going to win points if all the basically light green spots are filled up. So you can see here, for example, in this spot, that I'm not going to score 6 points here, but if I manage to fill every single spot of this up with one animal, I'm going to get 6 points. Now this can be replaced, and you can still add stuff in the dark green, and those people would also score 6 points. So you would, so someone would have to play more lions. You would have to, there's nothing higher than a lion, but you just have to play more animals. It could be of any type. Now there's only so many of each animal, so you're eventually going to run out, and the water holes are going to start being filled up, as are the rivers. Now when a river is completely filled up, we're going to flip it over and it's dried out. All right, the water holes are going to basically be there because essentially filling them up isn't going to be able to happen to the end of the game. Now, at the end of your turn, after you score points, you're going to take animals also from the reserve. You can take animals from any spot, but they have to be a lower ranking if you go to a water hole, or otherwise you just have to take fewer if you went to the river. And then we add more animals from the bag to fill out that spot up there. That's pretty much it. Now there are rangers, I told you already, and these guys count as jokers, and they can go anywhere on the board. When those are being played, you can swap them out for anyone. On your turn, though, you can put an animal where a ranger is to take that ranger in your hand. Because, maybe you have, so for example, this one where I had a ranger here, if I had a lion, I could replace him with the lion and take the ranger, then I could use that ranger someone else. The game ends when all the white fields are occupied, and that's on all the water holes and the rivers. And that's going to, there's different numbers on each one. And at that point, whoever has the highest score is the winner. Everyone's going to get one more turn, except for the person who filled up the last one. And then the highest score over here is going to be the person who won the game. Okay, so the game comes with a nice bag, easy to put your hand in, has the name of the game on it. And I like the pictures here. They're nice drawings of different animals, and the tiles are good quality. The game has a good feel. The whole thing looks really nice, right? Jumbo usually has good quality for their games anyway. So the punch boards here with the watering holes, everything is set up here. The scoring tracks, whatever, who cares? But everything else looks pretty nice. My only complaint, component-wise, is the actual rules themselves. The rules are written in multiple languages, and probably it just is a translation thing. But I found that the rules about taking and scoring animals, even though they showed a lot of pictures, was slightly confusing in how to place the animals and such. It was a little bit more confusing, I thought. The game felt just the slightest bit clunky just to get over those rules for the initial game. It's not that complex, and I do think that once you get it, it's pretty easy to understand, but that would be my only complaint. Everything else looks great. Okay, so even though this game is designed by Wolfgang, Kramer, and Michael Kiesling, who are hot designers for sure, they make some great games, this is not going to be one of their most memorable games. This game is fine. It's good. In fact, I'll give it a thumb up. I like it. But it didn't leave me like, oh, how is this thing going to play next turn? In fact, it was a little jittery in parts, I thought, because you're sitting there going, okay, so you play 3 lions here, I can play 4, go back and forth, and as people jump up in points, because at first, the only points are coming from the rivers. In fact, it's easy to do the rivers as the watering holes. That's why they run out. But the watering holes, you're slowly trying to build up a big stock of one animal so you can be like, blop, and score some points. And then maybe pull those back and blop with another set of animals. And that works. The problem I have with this is there's a lot of other games out there that do this. In fact, there's a simple little game, Drive, Samurai, Crazy Chickens, whatever, that does this in a very simple way. And this game almost feels like it has one too many rules. I like the animals. I love the theme of going to the water holes and the rangers and stuff. But it just felt like there was, put this out here, then you can do this, and you can only take the number of animals. And even though there's like 4 or 5 rules, it feels like I had to keep repeating them over and over. And it felt a little thinky for how light it ultimately turns out to be. Again, I can't point to many other flaws beyond that. It looks fantastic. It fits the theme. And I like it, I wouldn't mind playing it. It's just that the whole time you're playing, I'm like, man, I wish this game has a bit more punch, or on the flip side, was even more streamlined. One of those two. So it's an interesting idea. I'm looking forward to more games from both of these designers, and I'm super glad the Safari theme is always. I wish there was way more Safari games out there. And there's some clever things you can do in the game, like I'm going to slowly take this animal and hope no one notices, and then pile them out here, or put out a couple of them. But if you put out a couple, someone else might grab them, and then you're not going to get them back. But you put out a couple and replace them later on, and get those animals right back. So you're kind of building this up, and there's a little bit of brinksmanship as players are watching each other to see who's going to go for the big watering holes that are worth more points. But in the end, if you go back to me at the end of the game and say, what did you do to win? I might say, well, here's a few things I tried, but you really don't know how your opponents are going to react, or if a tile indeed may come out of the bag at any given point in time. So, interesting game, not their best, but a solid showing from Kramer and Kiesling. Dice Tower Judgment, set collecting fun!